I've always been kind of lame about the cold weather. I do have one secret for this. There is someone that I rolled. They're a heavier set human, and they generate a lot of their own body heat. And rolling with them, it was like, oh, you're warm. And so, not to be weird, but now that might be my secret, is to roll with the person who just generates their own body heat, even if there's a big size difference, as long as you can trust them to keep you safe and stuff, because they're like a little heater for your hands.
My secret is I generally don't drill. When you jump into training, you get hot very quick, and so that quickly dissipates. Yeah, just skip drilling.
Don't drill.
Yeah, just don't drill.
That totally won't go wrong. Yeah.
Nope. In this episode of Jiu Jitsu Ponderings,
we talk about strength training for Jiu Jitsu. A lot of long run in Jiu Jitsu kind of stuff, like how to stay in Jiu Jitsu.
Longevity, yeah,
how
definitely.
to stay motivated in Jiu Jitsu.
And it's like coming back, taking ownership of your development. There's various different topics that are relevant to people that want to take Jiu Jitsu not just for a little bit of time, but to make it a long journey that they continue on. And if they need to take a break for whatever reason, to be able to come back to.
Yep.
So thank you for your time and enjoy.
Yeah. Stay tuned for tips and more.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Jiu Jitsu Ponderings. I'm Lauren.
And I'm David.
Thanks for joining us.
Subscribe right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
All right.
We're going to start off with some rapid fire questions, as we do now.
As we do.
All right. David, how many tacos do you think you could eat in one sitting?
Asking the tough questions early. I think that I am not one to be able to eat a lot in one sitting generally.
I think that I could eat 6 tacos in one sitting. I think that's fairly realistic, as long as they're not spicy. If they're spicy, we're getting 1.5 down.
Depends on how spicy.
Yeah, it has to be good. Yeah, the spicy has to be at the end or something.
Yeah.
Like a standard taco.
I think 6 is reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I really had to, maybe 8. If I was hungry. I'm not big on eating a lot at one time. Every once in a long while I can do that, but it's...
What's the last thing you ate a large quantity of?
I don't even know. Apricots?
The dried apricots? Oh, no. You eat the fresh apricots, yeah. You will crush them.
When they are in season, there's this 2.5 week time frame when they're in season. They're hella good. And you just split them open and get the seed out of the way. You just... I'll straight gremlin mode that, for sure.
You eat a large amount of fruit throughout the day.
During certain seasons,
summer, yeah.
Stone fruit, especially.
Yes.
But other fruit can strike my fancy.
Indeed.
All right, moving on. To less important stuff.
Like jiu-jitsu.
Favorite submission and least favorite submission.
I think my favorite submission is an armbar. That's
just a...
Yeah, I know, boring, yeah.
Just this standard...
yeah, exactly.
They push up on you, you go.
I mean, that never happens, unless you're training with white belts or whatever.
It's not Tariqa Plata?
No, it's not. That's not my favorite, because there's something really satisfying about the control of the arm bar and the hip in and everything. I was thinking a knee bar is kind of a similar sensation in that it feels good, but the arm destruction, the arm's a little less of a thing to deal with as compared to someone's leg. And so, yeah, it feels kind of epic to hit an arm bar.
Okay.
And that's very important to me, obviously.
Yes, aura points.
Yeah. My least favorite submission is probably getting spinal locked or whatever. the Eddie Bravo one where like they put the hand behind the head.
He calls it what,
a
the
twister?
guillotine? Yeah, twister. We used to call it a guillotine.
Getting twistered is probably one of the most like it just feels like you're like, I'm an idiot, like or something.
Well, yeah,
and and it's bad. Yeah,
and it's like it just hurts.
I mean, I usually tap before it hurts. I'm just like, I will implode or something, or like, All right, what are yours?
I mean, obviously, I like the ankle lock. I like it especially when people know it's coming and they can't stop it. It's satisfying. I like knee bars. Honestly, like knee bars are a lot of fun to me. They're very satisfying in a lot of different ways. I especially like knee bars with unconventional finishes, like where I'm pushing away or whatnot. Those are always fun because like they're surprising to people.
Nice.
My least favorite sub. I mean, we've covered it before. The mother's milk, I think, is stupid.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of put a twist on it in terms of one that I don't like being submitted by. What's one where you don't like being submitted by it? You don't like having it done to you. That makes more sense.
I feel like at omoplata, it's so rare that it works. But when it does, it's annoying.
I hit one today. It felt very good.
It's good.
Yeah. I've trained for the...
I think omoplata is a cool move.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mother's milk.
Mother's milk. Yeah. Mother's milk is stupid. Yeah. If you had to get a submission as fast as possible, realistically, what submission and how are you entering it?
Knee bar. I'm sitting with my grip configuration that I like, going right into K-guard, scoop up knee bar from them still standing. And if they defend, depending on how they defend, then I'll force them to roll and then knee bar them. I get a lot of knee bars sub 30 seconds that way. Alternatively, I can go into K or half guard or a keymaster and scoop the ankle and ankle lock people. That's another way to get it pretty fast. I've gotten, I think, an 11-second submission that way. So nice. I think you can get there fast.
Yeah. I think the K guard pull to knee bar is easily my fastest submission. And I will say
you did it in no-gi pants.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like.
That was sweet.
Yeah, that was sweet. Today I was playing in the gi for the first time, and I was overhead sweeping them, and they were hovering there, and they were really up high, and I was like, I could helicopter armbar them. And so I do feel like in the right scenario that my initial answer to this for most people, if they don't play K-guard, if they're playing more like traditional gi, if someone was asking me what's my fastest way to a submission on average is like as a regular human, like doing one of the pull guards to armbar or to triangle is probably the most people's fastest way to submission.
Yes. I think albatross armbar or just like a short where you're grabbing inside the elbow crook and just pulling it right into shotgun arm bars. Yeah, that's another good way. Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Who is your favorite competitive grappler out there today?
I have a hard time with favorites.
Besides me.
Besides you, of course. You're the handsomest grappler out there today.
Best hair.
Best hair, yes. I was joking today that my goal is to just be as good as an AOJ blue belt. And there's one in particular here. Okay. JP Tran from Art of Jiu Jitsu. He's I don't know, like 16, 17-year-old blue belt. And seeing his understanding of both traditional modern jiu-jitsu of Man Boloing and stuff, and now using it to enter the saddle and to attack heel hooks when he's doing heel hook friendly things and be really solid at IBJJF. It's so cool. So that was just really exciting, and it feels like some of the most helpful jiu-jitsu to watch because you can see a little bit more clearly what's happening. So I thought that was I don't know about favorite, but I've been seeing videos of him for a while, and it's very cool. What about you?
Probably, I like Joseph Chen. His like understanding of grappling is just so vast, and he seems so like almost lackadaisical, but so effective. Um, I also really like what Pavel Jaworski is doing, and just taking the nogi scene by storm, and so prolific with the leg attacks, and it just seems like really difficult to stop. Dorian Oliveras is just high octane chaos unbottled. And so like he's fun to watch. I don't know that I could replicate his game that much, but there are aspects that you certainly can, but he just has a gas tank for days. And then Kawanta from Australia, he's so good. Shout out Hoglock.
I do also, in the more professional jiu-jitsu scene, seeing Anna Mayordomo, I think I'm pronouncing that right, just kind of come out of nowhere and suddenly start. I think she won Nogi Pans, and she has done really well. I think at ADCC, she maybe won trials or something like that. But she kind of came out and just started crushing at featherweight. That's really cool.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I gotta say, probably my longest running, one of my favorite people to watch and try to absorb slivers of what they're doing is by far Maisa Bastos, who's just had an incredible long-standing career and just continues to terrorize at, I think, light feather or rooster. Yeah, light feather. I think.
Rooster at majors and light feather at like
Yeah.
other ones. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Her technical execution is just insane. It's so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, rapid fire.
All right. What are your deserted island picks? We're going to do it fast. 1 takedown, 1 guard pass, 1 submission, 1 position. Okay.
I don't know what the 1 position. This one's
Yeah, what's the 1 position?
You put this on.
I
don't
put
know.
this on?
Yeah, bro. So this is your question.
Okay, whatever.
All right. 1 takedown. Let's go outside single. 1 guard. Let's go old school. Go half guard because I have the most from it. 1 guard pass. I'm going to go. I don't even know what to call. I'll do shin staple.
Nice.
1 submission. I mean, come on, ankle lock, and then 1 position. I don't really know what the 1 position is, but let's say mount.
Yeah, nice.
So I love attacking from the mount.
Nice. All right. My 1 takedown is also an outside single. 1 guard, definitely De La Hiva. 1 guard pass, I would say probably, what do they call it? I think a weave pass from half guard. I think that would probably be my 1 pass. Although it's getting used less and less, I gotta say. 1 submission, armbar. And we don't care what 1 position means. You did mount.
Especially because if I can't have a submission from besides the ankle lock mount, I can be there.
I want the back mount. I think.
But you can't submit it. Oh, you can armbar, I guess, because you only get 1 submission.
You only get 1. Yeah, I can armbar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
no problem. Yeah, I think you know it's funny realizing this is nogi I want the back, and then gi I want mount.
Interesting.
What is your advice for someone who travels a lot and can't always train jiu-jitsu? We're assuming they like jiu-jitsu.
Assuming they like jiu-jitsu, you can't always train it. I think you find something that you enjoy that you can do pretty much anywhere. And that might end up being like a body weight routine that you maybe bring some bands or something else that's like light, easily portable.
A lot of gyms have hotel, or a lot of hotels
a lot of hotel
have
gyms
now.
but a lot of them are really bad.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you got cardio machines
Yeah.
and maybe some free
You
weights.
need a free weight, like, or a
I think you need a
body weight workout is where I'm going.
You need a body weight workout
Mhm.
that could be supplemented with some free weights if you have it. And so like have that where you're like, I can get a workout in. It might be slightly suboptimal, but I'll get something that'll keep me moving. And especially like maybe even some Pilates type movement too, where like you're counterbalancing the things that you do in jiu-jitsu all the time. And then have something where like, oh, if you do have some free weights, maybe you have a machine you can add on to it. I think that's my one bullet point.
I think one of my bullet points is watch a lot of jiu-jitsu. Watch matches, follow people with, games that you're aspiring to have similar games to, there's similar weight classes and that kind of thing on social media. And when you watch them intentionally, like you're studying, and if you can do mental visualization too of, oh, how would this feel and how would this look from my perspective, that will keep your jiu-jitsu from falling behind as much as it probably normally would. And traveling and training is awesome. Easier with no gi than with gi, because that's just like a big thing to pack. But I think it's one of, maybe not my favorite things about jiu-jitsu, but it's something I really enjoy, is that at this point, pretty much anywhere we go, we can find a gym to train in. And that's, if you got to be getting outside of major metropolitan areas to start having a hard time finding a gym at this point.
In general, I think that's right. You might have to do a little legwork, like message them on Instagram or wherever.
Do some research beforehand and everything. And hey, maybe you're saying, hey, I'm traveling for business and I really don't have time to train or work out. And that's where I think still, studying the game and being a fan, and then being careful when you're back in class and you're back from your break, like you're not going to be able to go really hard without.
If you don't have time to do a workout, try to do even like a 15-minute something. Just totally. To stay fluid, especially if you're like, say, at a conference where you're sitting down a lot. Just be find those 5 minutes here and there to do like a little quick stretch routine.
All right, we totally kept it rapid. All right.
Rabid.
Yep. All right, this one is from our good friend Craig Wallace. Now that you are older, training in the cold weather, how does it affect you and how do you deal with it? I would just like to say I'm very grateful to our gym owner, Wolf, for finally turning on the heater, because it was a little rough for a few weeks there. When it was really cold, I think it was not fun. It felt like my toes were freezing. I would leave my socks on for longer. I would just Moneyberg it, and train with socks for as long as I could, kind of thing. And maybe wear a sweater under the gi while I'm warming up, or, wear a sweater over my no-gi gear while I'm warming up, to just try to get as much heat going. I do have one secret for this. There is someone that I rolled with who is a pretty good blue belt, and they're a heavier set human, and they generate a lot of their own body heat, and rolling with them, it was like, oh, you're warm. And so, not to be weird, but now that might be weird. My secret is to roll with the person who just generates their own body heat, even if there's a big size difference, as long as you can trust them to keep you safe and stuff, because they're like a little heater for your hands. That's the new cold weather tech.
So train with the high calorie athletes.
Yeah, train with the high calorie athletes, exactly.
Okay.
Just hold them in your closed guard like a hug. Do you have any opinions on this or any thoughts? I know it's hard to come after training with the high calorie grapplers as a strategy.
I mean, I guess that's the money. No, I think it's, I'll wear longer rash guards. And what I'll do is, like, I'm usually dressed kind of like I am right now with sweatpants and sweatshirt. I'll do like my warm up like this. So I prolong switching. I'll put on my no-gi gear underneath.
Yeah.
And then I'll like warm up with this whole thing. If I'm in the gi, I'll just put on the gi. And then just try to move and warm up. I might even hit the airdyne for a little bit, like light casual, just like, get the body, like the blood flowing a little bit. But training when it's cold kind of sucks, especially if it's really cold.
Yeah.
The toes hurting is not the business.
Yeah.
But
we're also, I shouldn't speak for you, but I've always been kind of lame about the cold weather. Like I like skiing and stuff, but I like wearing enough that I am warm. And so that hasn't really changed for me since I was younger to getting older.
My secret is I generally don't drill. And so when you jump into training, you get hot very quick. And so that quickly dissipates.
All right.
So
there's another secret strategy.
Drilling, just skip drilling.
Don't drill.
Yeah, just don't drill.
That totally won't go wrong. Yeah.
Nope.
All right.
Checking in.
Check
1 2.
What's one thing you're working on in jiu-jitsu right now? I don't know about you, but I was sick last week, and so I couldn't train, and so I'm coming back in this week, and it feels like I'm not quite working on some of the things from No-Gi Worlds, but I am working on some of the things that I have been wanting to get to. It's kind of interesting having that little break, and mostly just today feeling like I could finally actually work on them and not just be like trying to get my lungs to work again. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. I think I'm working on like passing on the knees a lot, and then only really going outside passing when standing, very occasionally. I haven't done the gi, like trained in the gi until this week in a long time. So it's been like, I think this is the second one, so it's been a little bit interesting getting back used to doing the gi. But I'm trying to do a couple passing sequences from the knees, and even doing outside passing, but from the knees. And I'm trying to work and integrate a couple things there, a couple shin traps, shin stapling, working like low, like kind of stack passing, but more like rather than stacking, I'm like turning the corner, and working some of that stuff. And that's been fun. It's been good. And then a lot of like grind, smash, maintain, controlled kind of game from like side control and mount, like really just like a lot of solid control and not like jumping to submissions. Also like finding the flow to get to the back and finding finishing from the back. So more of a methodical, tight, sequential kind of game, a little bit different than what I normally do on some levels. In a little bit, when I feel a little bit more comfortable with my knee, I'll probably do more stand-up, start working some of that.
Nice. To be a little more exact with what I'm working on, we did some nice heel hook defense today. That was really cool. I feel like my prevention is okay, but my responses for when I'm actually getting heel hooked could use work. And so that was really helpful to work on. And I think it's what I need more of, and I have to just make sure that I do it with someone who kind of knows what they're doing. And I liked that you were doing a lot of different transitions, and there were things that I could then steal when I'm attacking you and try to do. So that was cool. And then
sometimes we actually can train together.
Sometimes, yeah. I think we've actually we trained together the day before as well, yesterday. And I feel like we had a good, good vibe. Your shins still just like are agonizing, There's a lot of just like, but it's okay.
I shin stapled, not like their thigh, but I shin stapled the lower part of someone's leg, and I wasn't even like on it that much, and they're like, "Oh my god."
I did shin staple someone else, and they were like, "Your shins are very sharp," and so it's funny. So I get to dish it out a little bit as well. And then the other thing is that I'm working on different bolo variations. And so the way I heard one's the old man bolo, where instead of inverting under, you're inverting away, you're rolling like a pencil. And so that was cool to go over.
Is that baby bolo? Or is that different? I don't
I
know.
think
Whatever.
that's different. Yeah.
There's all kinds of
yeah,
bolos.
and that's what it's really wild where I think one of the challenges that I have is understanding when you go to each one. And it's almost like I need time where I'm just drilling all of these sequences from the same starting position and really honing that. And that's where I can see where, hey, you need to really just have a lot of time during the week to be drilling all of these different variations over and over again.
Especially on like something that is nuanced is the this reaction you need to go this finish, and this reaction you need to go that other finish. And that's
and it was like, hey, this style, it's easier to do, but it's easier to get reboloed doing. So so that was like interesting learning about, where people could counter, and just finding a new avenue, like in seeing people like JP Tran and these other, Mendez like students coming up, like seeing how they're moving and how they're berimboloing in nogi, I feel is like very helpful. So I think working that in addition, and then the final thing I'll say is probably I found someone to help me pass even when someone kind of keeps moving and can really push the pace, where she won't let me put her in half guard, and she's constantly moving and she's constantly looking for attacks. And I'm like, oh, this is a really good style for me to work with, so that was really cool. So it's nice finding another person that I can kind of add to that repertoire, and hopefully she'll get ready for a tournament soon. So yeah, we kind of started on this, but how is your training this week?
I think that post Nogi Worlds, I was kind of washed, and maybe I got sick, or I was like kind of sick and then like it came to, and then I was like worried about my knee, so it was and trying to catch up with work, and I was on jury duty for a little while too. It was,
dude, so many things
going on. So like I was kind of washed for a little bit, and then when I started coming back into, I think it was Friday, it was when I came back, which was 4 or 5 days ago. My knee felt pretty good, only one spot. I wore a brace, and then like, it was like kind of sketchy for a few days, and then basically about 4 or 5 days after, like, one's fine. And so now it's the same positions that they used to be. They're a little bit like I can feel it, but for the most part, it feels great. It's pretty clear that like my conditioning needs to ramp up a little bit, and getting used to gi again is fun. I'm not like lost, but there are like some stuff I'm like, oh yeah, I can do more stuff, different things. Like, this is cool. And certain other things you kind of can't do as well because of the movement is inhibited by the gi in some ways. But I feel like it's been good. I've been trying to be a little bit more conservative with my training, as far as like not doing like crazy stuff, and like I was mentioning earlier today, or earlier with what I'm working on, is like more of a grinding, sequentially progressive kind of game, and trying to lock things down a little bit more, and not allowing certain things to go, and like let them get deep on the leg attack and defend when they're deep, like shut it down early. So I'm already implementing some of the things that I wanted to do from the last podcast, where I was talking about like things to work on. And it's just going slow. It's just, I'm not like where you're deep diving and drilling and that kind of stuff. I'm mostly just like sprinkling it into my training. For now, I might like do a little bit more of a troubleshooting later on, but I'm just trying to keep it easy, light, and
there's some things where I feel like I need to drill it, like this kind of more complex. I will just try things in training, and like today I tried some of those berimbolo modifications, and at one point something went really wrong, and I was like, oh, I'm about to end up in like side control, like bottom, like bad, and had to make some kind of on the fly scrambles, happen. And so then that led me to say to one of my coaches, there's something that I'm missing in this position. You know, can you take a look and help me break it down? And that was super helpful. Whereas yesterday in Nogi, I was working on that reverse grip from top half guard, where you're you said it was Fabricio Andre who does it a lot. Yeah, Hokage. Yep. Where you're switching your hips and sitting for the Kimura or looking to pass. And so that I was just experimenting with more in mid rounds, and kind of seeing what was happening and telling myself, hey, just experiment, like see how this goes. And that was really fun. It was nice to just like try something new, and like kind of see where it gets me. And it's funny because then today did not think of that at all, like in training. So that's one thing where how can you say, you know, okay, I'm going to keep working on this for, you know, consistently for enough weeks that I can see where it goes, you know?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I bet you'd be more consistent with it in no-gi.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
Your mind sometimes like bifurcates techniques between the two.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I will say, and to answer the actual question of how was your training this week, it's nice to be back training because last week I was sick and I almost had jury duty. You had it. We celebrated. Oh, hello to the baby. Yes, that's as far over as I can get. Okay.
Oh, you can get farther.
Okay, hi baby.
No saying. Oh, the kisses.
Oh, he's cleaning you. He doesn't like it, but it's so cute. Oh,
I don't know if they can see it, but he's licking the cat.
The cat does not like it. Oh, don't do that. Yeah.
Who's a
cat does not like it. He just wants to sniff his butt.
Here, why don't you let him go?
Relax, baby. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Who's your baby? All right.
Pause. Okay. So it's really nice to be back training, and with the holiday break about to happen, I was tired today. You know, I think that same thing of just trying to get my conditioning back. And I told myself, oh, I'm tired, but like I might not get to train. Stop distracting from my talking. I might not get to train for the next couple days. So I got to make it in, and I'm definitely glad I did. Because there were some really, you know, interesting things happening in rounds, and it was wild to put the gi back on for the first time because I'm considering a potential super fight and thinking about, okay, I'm really liking no gi, but it was oddly, I was surprisingly refreshed, especially playing guard back in the gi, where I'm like, oh, plata, and oh my god, Man Boloing and playing De La Hiva is just way easier with the pants on and all that kind of stuff. So that was actually surprisingly nice, you know?
If anyone was wondering why we have
fur everywhere,
fur on our sweatshirts and stuff like that frequently,
this is one of the reasons.
Secret no longer.
Oh, the baby.
All right. Oh my god, there's so much fur.
You gotta ask the next question because I'm trapped.
All right, hello. I don't know who this is from, but what are your thoughts on strength training for BJJ? And if you had to pick only one exercise that gives you the biggest improvements on the mats, which movement would you personally rely on and why?
So
thank you.
Yes. Thank you for submitting your question. But so I think the first thing is if you can do 2 to 3 days a week of strength training, it's just going to improve your life and your training longevity and your execution. It's going to just make everything better. So if you can do that, that's awesome.
2 days minimum is great. 2 to 3 is all you really need, especially if you're training significantly. Nothing more.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say that if I could only do one movement, I would probably, my instinct is deadlift. I'm like maybe squat, but I feel like for jiu-jitsu, it would probably be deadlift just because if I could do like a clean, that would probably be even better, but I really suck at doing cleans. So if I had the technical wherewithal to do a clean, that would probably be my number one, because then you're also getting like the squat in, you're getting the pull a little bit more, all that kind of stuff. You're getting dynamic, explosive movement. but doing a clean with, I've like strained my bicep tendon too many times trying to do it. So yeah,
Yasha would be mad.
I know.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Yasha.
he tried.
If
He really
you're
tried with me.
listening,
Yeah,
sorry, Yasha. He
yeah,
tried. He did his
yeah,
best.
yeah, exactly. I do think that learning how to Olympic lift from stop pulling out his fur. Stop. I think that learning how to lift from people who specialize in Olympic weightlifting is a really great additional skill to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Compound movements are just so good on so many levels, especially compound movements with free weights, because it forces you to not only have the large muscle bodies like firing and activating, but there's the ancillary and the like balancing muscle groups
All
and
the
that kind of stuff. All the
stabilizers, yeah.
stabilizers are really, really important. Strength training for BJJ is just a boon, and for life and longevity, like you're mentioning, and just health, happiness for men and women.
Bone density,
especially for osteoporosis for women, is just essential. And I think you're never too old to start lifting. So you masters athletes, it's just good for you. And you can start with something that's like only 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Like something is better than nothing. If I only had one exercise, it would be the back squat. And then if you're
back squat was close.
I mean, back squat is just
it's great.
It's a compound dynamic movement that, if done well, whether it's heavyweight or medium weight or lightweight, and it's just such a great movement. And if like you can't do that for whatever reason, I'd say pull-ups, grip strength, back. It often is just going to be helping you out in so many different ways. There's an interesting study around, and now this is maybe not causal, but some of the best performing wrestlers in the Worlds and Olympics and big tournaments also have the highest rep capacity for pull-ups. And some of that is just like, the people that work out more and can lift their body weight many times are just going to have more success. But like, there's also a strong correlation. And so I'm not saying that pull-ups will turn you into a jiu-jitsu savage, but pull-ups will turn you into a jiu-jitsu savage. So do them. This is also from Craig Wallace, our buddy, longtime friend. How do you stay motivated to train and lift as the years go by and as life throws you curveballs? And also with age, do you have any personal examples or stories?
Why don't you go first? Because I'm dealing with the dog.
It's a great question. I think that most people will encounter issues with motivation to train or even compete. I certainly know to like lift, because I don't always do that at all. I think that like one of the things that is the most helpful to me, especially when I can do this, is to not have it be a decision as much as possible. It's like Wednesday night, I'm training no-gi jiu-jitsu, and unless there's something that's like literally preventing me from being able to do that, I'm going there. And I try to make those as many days as I can to do that. There's not that many of those that I can like really say this, you will going no matter what, unless you are literally too sick to, or something is in your way.
One thing, it's interesting hearing you say that, because my observation of you is that, especially on days where you were really busy with work or you were having to like drive in and out of the city, you sometimes gave yourself permission. You're just like, I don't want to train tonight. Like I'm staying at home. And so I think one thing that would be helpful is, what was your barometer to give yourself that permission or push through?
Sometimes it's just you're at wit's end, and it's like your psychic energy is so low that you just can't manage it. And and like physical energy. Like when
Yeah.
I like, especially when I have like some of my like health issues coming up and whatnot, it's like somewhat not really a choice. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
like I like can't.
Hmm.
Um, so as much as I can, I try to, with a few days, and it's
Hmm.
not many, but a few days, it's like I am going. Ideally I do that with more days, but it's just kind of too hard
Hmm.
to do it. You know, some of it's like remembering that I will feel better after training
Hmm.
almost always, unless I like hurt myself. But like sometimes I would feel almost frenetic because I have so many things and
Mm.
big deadlines with work, and I just feel overwhelmed. And I will like use jujitsu as like, hey, I'm going to give my mind a break and my body a break, even though I'm pushing it.
Hmm.
And so like sometimes the motivation for training is to get in that flow state.
Hmm.
And I think that when I'm, you know, physically like not health compromised and just like stressed out or whatever else like that, like my motivation is a reminder that training will help me feel some reprieve from that. And so I think that that's it. Lifting is really difficult because I haven't been able to be consistent with it. And so
Hmm.
like any kind of advice that I give is going to be kind of like uh, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing.
Hmm.
But I think my goal with lifting and training is to make it less a factor of motivation and more a factor of discipline and habit. And that way I don't have to rely on motivation as much. And I think that like life is going to throw you curveballs. I'll close with this in that like, you know, I've had plenty of times in my life where for one reason or another, between being sick and work being too crazy and stuff like that, where like I'm just not able to train that much.
Hmm.
And not beating yourself up and not just like kind of throwing up your hands and saying, well, I guess that's it, you know, like find your small wins, you know, get back to the, you know, do a quick lift, get back to train 1 day a week and just don't go push it too hard or whatever, or compete even without it. Like that's how I would do it. I would still compete. And I'm not advising people to do that necessarily, but don't beat yourself up too much if life gets in the way and causes you to not be able to train as much as you want or at all for a little bit of time. Just when you can, get back to it and don't force too much. But I think try to make things a habit and not have to be motivated to do those things on a daily basis because motivation is going to come and go.
Hmm. I think usually for me, especially the kind of like life throws you curveballs thing, is the older you get, the more you sometimes literally have to say, this session will be my only chance this week, this month, whatever. I remember when after I had my kid, I was I recovered essentially. I was mostly like back to being healthy, and she was finally sleeping through the night for the most part. And so I started training with Yasha, the owner of Marine Heavy Athletics, at his, I think it was 6 a.m. Maybe it was around 6 a.m. because I had to get up around 5:15 or something like that. And it's one of the only times that I consistently for about 6 months would get up 2 or 3 days a week to go and do the lifts with him because in my mind I was like, this is the only time that I can do it. And it felt really good to be making that progress and to be learning how to do those lifts. And so I think having that clarity is really helpful. The other piece, as you're talking, I'm thinking about there were times when I had less motivation. And I think a lot of it was around, I think I felt pretty plateaued for a while at purple belt. And at the same, I was both plateaued skill wise and I was in the midst of transitioning gyms. And I remember I had moved to San Francisco, so I had started training at Black Sheep, and then I moved to San Francisco, and I felt kind of like unsure of where I should train. And then COVID happened. But until I was back in Marin, where I could train at Black Sheep consistently, it was harder to motivate. And there were various, and there was COVID going on and all that kind of stuff. But I think what you can do is, if you're having trouble feeling motivated, you can look at, well, how can I make this fun again? Is my gym environment the right environment for me? Because part of that is just, hey, you're looking now. I always look forward to seeing the people that I see at Black Sheep. I get to have conversations and get to know them, and then I get to go home and be in my cocoon. So that's a factor. I think in your training itself, can you make it fun? And I think we're going to hit on this a little bit more with the future question. If you're just trying to win every round or be really competitive and play your A game, eventually it will get boring, and it'll get frustrating to have that like win or lose component. And we were talking about this recently, where I think part of where David and I are able to make things exciting is, okay, we just came off of a loss, but like, oh, I'm just going to work on this cool half guard thing, and I'm going to try it out. And if it doesn't work and I get swept or whatever, like, it's cool. It's all good, And so I think having asking that question of, am I in an environment that I look forward to going to and that's helping push me along in my skill advancement? Are there skills that I'm excited to learn? And can I make it so that these sessions are valuable to the point where some of them I'm really just not going to want to miss, and I'm going to make it mostly non-negotiable,
Yeah, I think just to like piggyback on that, you don't have to have every training session be tough as nails, finding the toughest training partners, only doing, like you're saying, your A game and stuff like that. There's a lot of value to that. And like there's building grit and making sure that you can execute your A game even when you're tired. All these other things is absolutely a part of it. But your training can have different multitudes, different aspects to it. Having fun when you train, and that doesn't mean goofing off and doing silly stuff, maybe a little bit, but like you're saying, like exploring in new positions, new techniques, new variations of, keeps that dopamine hit coming. It's that novelty, and setting aside your ego. Even if it's just like, if you have an ego normally, but you're like, I'm going to set it aside at least partially, just when I'm experimenting, that like I'll say, hey, that doesn't count. That sweep doesn't count because I'm trying something new. That's really powerful, because that's also where you continue to grow and expand your skill. And I think that not only do you get better at offense, but you also get better at defense that way. And so you have a more holistic game being developed over time. So
I was on that exact note, I was listening to this book called Peak Performance today that you had recommended to me. I'm trying to get myself to go through it because it's a little homeworky, but it's also like, this is valuable. Okay, fine. And they were talking about like phone addiction and how we get more dopamine from the chase of a reward than from receiving the reward itself.
Dopamine is the anticipation hormone.
Exactly. It's actually anticipating, will I get it? And I feel like that's probably why a lot of people get addicted to jiu-jitsu, because you're anticipating, oh, I might submit them, oh, I might get this cool sweep. And often you're not getting there, but it's the attempt that is the thrill. And you're kind of rolling the dice each time you're training, because they talked a lot about gambling too. That's why gambling is addictive, is because they're getting so much dopamine while they're pulling the
slots
and such.
And the slots are set up to do like the whatever the icon is for like a jackpot to be 1 and then 2 and then a near miss physiologically is the same as a hit. Or very close,
which is wild.
And so your brain doesn't know the difference, and so like it's a way to hack the brain.
Yep. So you can try to maybe hack your brain with that in mind, you know, and just have that awareness of like,
Of just going to gamble.
no, I'm going to train, you know,
Gamify.
gamify.
Yeah, I think that
Yep.
that makes a lot of sense.
I think the last thing I'll say on this is, you know, the life throwing you curveballs. It's like, don't be afraid to come back, you know, and be like, it's okay if I'm gonna kind of suck compared to how I used to be. Like, have the right expectations, and then like you'll be right back there, you know. So yeah, just giving yourself that time, that patience. I know I had to do that after, you know, being pregnant, and I did not train like very much after I found out I was pregnant. And you know, I was like, dude, some blue belts are probably gonna trash me. I can't go very hard. I need to be careful. Like, I still have all the relaxin, like that makes your joints extra stretchy or whatever, and can cause injury. So you know, it's okay. You'll be back soon enough.
Yeah, and just to be like very explicit, if you've taken time off, like, be humble and be slow. It's just the same thing as like weightlifting. If you've you know, did a bunch of weightlifting, you haven't done it in 5 years, you're not going to be at the same as what you used to.
Or even a year. Like, I think those were the people, I bet you saw this too, where I can think right immediately of a few people who would take 6 months off or take a year off, and then they'd come back and they would try to train in the exact same way, and they'd try to go hard, and they'd get hurt right away. You know, like within a week of being back, and you're just like, bro, like, you know.
You gotta take it slow and make like acclimate your body to it, and be aware that you're gonna like not be as good as you were, but it's not quite like riding a bike, but it's kind of similar in that like those things will come back faster. You just got to give it a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. All right, now we have one question from Nikki Buck, our buddy. How do you take ownership of your own skill development so you don't feel directionless or stalled? So I think this is kind of like a buildup of, we've kind of answered this a little bit, but are there any extra specific examples or bullet points that you'd add here?
I think some people are better at this earlier in their career than others. Like, I feel like I had a hard time taking direction of my training until probably the last couple years, you know, of my jiu-jitsu journey or whatever. And
what do you think changed?
I think that my game is more well fleshed out. There's like all these different systems and pieces and things, and it became, and I mean, I don't know, like, how many years ago? 10 years ago, we didn't have Instagram, you know? Like, you didn't get these short clips that were just like highlight clips fed to you at all hours of the day if you wanted. And so I think right now,
that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, definitely double-edged sword. I think it's easier for me to watch a clip and see something and be like, oh, that might fit, you know? And to drop my ego down enough to be willing to try it on people where it might go wrong. So I think that's kind of the switch that has flipped. I think some people like you, and I'm thinking of some other people that I know, like one dude is really experimenting with some of the newer, more modern heel hooks and things. I think some people just really understand their body, and they'll see something and they'll be able to kind of fit their body into it a little bit faster. I think you can take ownership even if you're not like that, you know? And if you're not like that, maybe taking ownership is finding the right instructor for you.
It might be getting privates.
Yeah.
It might be finding the right instructor, and like, or like brainstorming with your instructor on like what to work on, that kind of stuff. Because it doesn't need to be all self-initiated. It can be a co-creation with someone that you value, that knows your game at least a little bit and whatnot. Yeah, totally. So caveat that
you're weird.
What?
That you're weird.
I'm weird. A lot of people tell me this. I learn by training, and I like figure things out. I'm almost never plateauing. Uh, it's just the way I am. So I'm giving this from what I would advise other people. So take that for a grain of salt. But I think to me, it starts with there's three things: having a coherent and detailed way of if someone says you will start a match, and if they don't properly defend, what is the sequence to you winning that match? So it might be I'm going to get a head and collar tie, do a slide by, I break them down, I get past their guard with a specific guard, and A to B, then C to D to victory. Start there. If you don't have that, that's like a problem. The second thing I would say is have your A game from the core positions, from a guard, from a takedown, from on top while you're passing. Have a node of a blueprint. So you're like, I like half guard. Okay, so you have your sweep, like a sweep, a submission, and you start working on like say I don't really like this, but half guard and you do a dog fight, you do the underhook, you come up to dog fight, and you have your sweep if they don't defend well enough, but they're gonna defend most of the time. And when they do the first defense, have your reaction to that. And if they do a different defense, have your other reaction to that, and then keep building your nodes from that. And that's your game. Like that's you, and then you can have a second ancillary. You can't get underneath the underhook because they're keeping it away. Okay, attack the far side or extract and go to a different guard. Whatever it might be, is you start your path, and when you run into obstacles, that's how you develop your game. It's okay, what is my answer to that obstacle? And you try to codify and then best to link it to the other game. So like when you do sweep, now you're in ideally a passing sequence that you're very familiar with. And if not, then get familiar with that passing sequence and build from there. And then I think the third one is kind of like what you're talking about is find direction from other people or co-create. And then I'll add like a little extra of like build a drill list. So if you have a little bit of time, even if it's 5-10 minutes while you're warming up or what, just have like a drill list of something that you're working on or a couple things that you're working on, whether you're refining or just kind of troubleshooting. And you can, when you're warming up or you have a little bit of time, or even if you're sitting out around where you're like, I'm so tired, but I'll use this as an opportunity to ask the person like, hey, can we drill instead? And you work on your drill list that you're working on. I think that's
so one thing that I wanted to touch on that I think you were kind of getting at with like having your path to victory, your A game, is that part of the reason that you're not plateauing at white belt and blue belt is because the gaps in what you need to improve on are more clear, Mm-hmm. And so what you were saying is kind of the thing that you need to be working on in those first like 3 to 5 years of your jiu-jitsu of I need moves from every position.
Yep.
And I need to have, these are the things where I'm going to find success. And then once you have those, then you can also be experimenting, or maybe you're doing a little bit of experimentation in the beginning on, I already understand, De La Hiva, even though my half guard sucks. This was me. I'm gonna dial in there and just try to avoid this position if I'm competing. And so I think making sure that you're addressing that along your way will help keep you stalled out and keep sourcing it from, different people. Like I think putting yourself outside of your gym environment occasionally by going to an open mat or by competing will help you see more, opportunities for different techniques that you need to improve on and different things that are happening in the world of jiu-jitsu that are exciting.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And like we were saying earlier, like make it fun, useful, but still fun.
Yep.
All right, last question here. We are with Horwitz BJJ. advice for getting back on the mat after a 3-year layoff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we alluded to this a little bit earlier. I think one, do it if it calls to you and it makes sense for your life, like do it. But go slow. I mean, it depends on like what belt you are, but like maybe just do the fundamentals class for a little bit of time. Like if you're like, I can't stop myself from going hard, like I'm guilty of this. A lot of people I know are guilty of this. Like try to constrain yourself if that's what you need to do, but pick partners that aren't going to go ham. Go slow, like take your L's, and that's okay. You're looking to ramp back up, but like mostly
you might not want to even spar for the first couple weeks. You know?
Maybe it just listen to your body and not your stupid monkey mind ego telling you to go and get back to like you got to show them. You don't got to show anyone anything. The consistent thread that I have, and we talk about a lot, and even like our buddy Dave Meyer, who's been training for forever, is like, don't get hurt, especially needlessly. So, take care of your body, take care of yourself, and, ramp and ease back into it. And even more so, have it be fun. Because you're starting fresh again, and it's really difficult, it's hard, and just don't have expectations that are high.
When people are first looking to try jiu-jitsu, I used to sell memberships to like the jiu-jitsu gym and stuff, and I would field all the calls. And so, a lot of the time people would be like, oh, do I need to be in shape already? Or, oh, I've been wanting to try it, but I'm a little overweight, or, I'm not very strong. So do I need to go lift before? And generally the answer is no, but also it definitely helps if you are the better shape you are in to then be doing this kind of like crazy chaotic sport. So if you're able to also like, whether you can do that before you're training, before you start training again, to start to do some strength and conditioning again, it will only help make coming back to training easier. I would say for people that are in good shape but have taken a break, they probably suffer from the break a lot less, as long as their ego isn't getting in the way. I would say they suffer from the ego probably a little bit more.
Ego is definitely the thing that gets people injured the most.
Yep, indeed.
All right. With that, any closing thoughts?
Oh.
Go train.
Have fun. And we're filming this the day before Christmas Eve, so enjoy the holiday season. The eve of Christmas Eve. Yes. So enjoy the holiday season.
However you celebrate.
Go find your open mats or whatever.
Yes,
or be normal and hang out with your family. We love our
family. Train
jiu-jitsu. But yes. All right. David and Lauren out or something.
Oh, wow.
Wow.